Welcome to Inside the Mind, the podcast where we explore the hidden corners of human psychology. Today's episode is about psychoanalysis, the field that changed the way we understand the mind, emotions, and the stories we tell ourselves. Psychoanalysis began as Sigmund Freud's bold attempt to understand why people think, feel, and behave in ways they often cannot explain, and over time, it grew into a deep exploration of the hidden forces shaping the human mind. At its heart lies the idea that much of our inner life operates unconsciously, influencing our choices, relationships, and emotional reactions without our awareness. Freud imagined the mind as an iceberg. The conscious world we know and navigate sits above the surface, while vast unconscious layers, made of memories, impulses, fears, and unresolved conflicts exist below. Psychoanalysis tries to uncover this hidden terrain through methods like free association, in which individuals speak without filtering their thoughts, allowing buried emotions to surface naturally, and through dream analysis, which treats dreams as symbolic pathways into the unconscious. Slips of the tongue, subtle reactions, and recurring patterns in relationships are also viewed as clues. Within this framework, Freud introduced the id, ego, and superego. The id pushes us toward instinctive pleasure. The superego imposes internalized rules and moral expectations, and the ego continuously negotiates between them, trying to create balance in the real world. He also described defense mechanisms such as repression, projection, and rationalization, psychological strategies the mind uses to protect itself from discomfort or painful truths. In therapy, moments of transference, when a person begins to project feelings from past relationships onto the analyst, become powerful opportunities for insight. Although Freud's early ideas have been debated and expanded, the core belief that our past shapes our present remains at the center of modern psychodynamic approaches. Today's psychoanalytic work focuses on understanding emotional patterns, tracing the roots of behaviors, and helping people explore the unspoken threads that influence their lives. It is a slow, reflective, and often transformative journey, one that invites individuals to make sense of their histories, understand their inner conflicts, and move toward a fuller, more integrated sense of themselves.
As psychoanalysis evolved across the 20th century, new thinkers expanded its reach and challenged some of Freud's original assumptions, giving rise to diverse branches that all shared the same fascination with the unseen layers of the human psyche. Figures like Carl Jung introduced the idea of a collective unconscious, filled with shared symbols and archetypes, while Alfred Adler shifted attention toward feelings of inferiority, power, and belonging as central forces in shaping personality. Leader schools emphasized early attachments and the powerful influence of caregiving relationships on emotional development, suggesting that the way we learn to trust, love, and cope with distress begins long before we can form conscious memories. Despite their differences, these perspectives all highlighted how deeply our emotional lives are shaped by experiences we rarely think about. As the field matured, psychoanalysis also became more attentive to the social and cultural contexts that mold identity, giving room for a richer understanding of how people internalize expectations, norms, and pressures from the world around them. Modern practitioners often blend traditional methods with contemporary insights, helping individuals recognize repeating patterns in their relationships, make sense of unresolved wounds, and connect present struggles with the deeper stories that shaped them. Even in an age filled with rapid diagnoses and brief therapies, psychoanalysis continues to offer something distinct, a space where time slows down, where the complexity of a person's inner world is taken seriously, and where growth emerges not from quick fixes, but from carefully uncovering the meanings behind emotions, behaviors, and memories. Over the years, countless people have discovered through this process a deeper sense of clarity, compassion for themselves, and an ability to reshape the narratives that once controlled their lives.
As the influence of psychoanalysis spread beyond clinical settings, its ideas began shaping art, literature, cinema, and even everyday conversation, encouraging people to look inward and question the hidden motivations behind their choices. Writers used psychoanalytic concepts to craft characters driven by internal conflicts they themselves did not fully understand, while filmmakers portrayed dreams, memories, and symbolic imagery as gateways into the subconscious. This cultural impact reflected a broader shift. People started to see their emotional lives as layered, complex, and worthy of exploration. In the therapeutic room, psychoanalysis continued to evolve into a collaborative process in which the analyst and the patient work together to observe subtle emotional shifts, recurring relational patterns, and the deeper meaning behind moments of anxiety, hesitation, or desire. Instead of focusing solely on symptoms, the goal became understanding the person as a whole, how they learned to survive the world, what beliefs they internalized about themselves, and how old strategies of coping may no longer serve them. Through this gradual uncovering, individuals often begin to see themselves with new clarity, recognizing how fears or expectations formed long ago continued to echo in their present lives. Over time, this awareness makes space for genuine change, not by forcing behavior from the outside, but by transforming the internal landscape that drives it. In many cases, people emerge from psychoanalytic work with a deeper sense of stability, emotional flexibility, and an ability to form relationships grounded in authenticity rather than unconscious repetition. And despite the modern world's pace, psychoanalysis remains one of the few approaches that invites a person to slow down and listen to what lies beneath the surface, to discover not only the wounds that shape them, but also the inner strengths, desires, and possibilities that may have been waiting quietly to be found.
And as this journey through the landscapes of the mind reaches its quiet end, what stands out is not a single theory or a fixed explanation, but the enduring invitation that psychoanalysis offers to anyone willing to look inward with patience and honesty. It reminds us that beneath our everyday reactions and familiar routines lies a deeper story, one shaped by forgotten moments, unspoken hopes, and the emotional traces left by the people who raised us, challenged us, and loved us in their imperfect ways. By slowing down enough to listen to those hidden layers, individuals often discover that the conflicts they once feared are not obstacles meant to defeat them, but signals pointing toward unresolved needs and long-ignored desires. And through this understanding, a new kind of freedom emerges, the freedom to choose differently, to relate more openly, and to step out of cycles that once felt unavoidable. What psychoanalysis ultimately offers is a space where complexity is welcomed rather than dismissed, where questions matter more than quick answers, and where growth unfolds at the pace of genuine insight. In a world that often rushes toward solutions, it provides a rare pause, a moment to sit with the richness of one's inner life and to recognize that the mind is not a problem to be fixed, but a story to be understood. And perhaps in that understanding, each person finds not a final conclusion, but a renewed sense of curiosity about who they are and who they might become as they continue writing the next chapters of their own unfolding narrative.